Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So we are back once again with the Intel Compaq running its usual install of Windows XP Professional that we had set up in a previous video of mine. Today we are going to be installing yet another XP based OS. It's not Windows XP Home Edition because we already done that earlier, and it's not XP Professional because we already done that earlier too. So we're going to be installing another OS on this thing that's based on XP but is tailored for a specific market, and that, my friends, is this Windows Embedded POSReady 2009. So what this is, Windows Embedded POSReady 2009 is a derivative of Windows XP Professional, made for embedded use. Now I know that they start off with Windows XP Embedded first, then it was derived as Windows Embedded for point of sale, point of service services. I believe that's what it's called. The initials are WEPOS, obviously. Now POS in the name stands for point of sale. So point of sale terminals, so like your cash registers, ATMs, whatnot. And there's Windows Embedded Standard 2009. And this is POSReady 2009. So this is a version of Windows Embedded Standard 2009 made for point of sale terminals. So without rambling, I'm going to put in this DVD, this DVD of Windows Embedded POSReady 2009. Now, this is a DVD copy of Windows Embedded POSReady 2009 because they did have a trial CD offered on Microsoft's website. You can still get that, but this is I believe it's the full set. I'm certain. So this is the companion setup. We will go ahead and restart to actually install Windows POSReady 2009, obviously. Now, this is probably the first time that I will be showing you installing Windows POSReady 2009, Embedded POSReady 2009, especially since I've already done POSReady 7 in a different video, obviously. So let's go ahead. I'm hearing those two floppy disk sounds. Starting installation environment, and I can hear it's loading it off directly from the disk, so it may take a little bit longer. So yeah, it's loading the installation environment straight into I believe in RAM or something like that. I'm not too sure, or it could be running off directly from the disk, but no matter. We're going into the setup process for Windows Embedded POSReady 2009. And then, so it got there, and it'll say, please wait in a moment. Oh, it didn't say it, but there we go. Now, this is the standard Windows XP boot screen from Service Pack 2 and up, because Windows Embedded POSReady 2009 and Windows Embedded Standard 2009, for that matter, are based on Windows XP Professional with Service Pack 3 slipstreamed into it. So, yeah. Now, to me, I usually forego any version of XP with Service Pack 2 and up because of, it may be a little bit bloaty in terms of the features and stuff, the default pre-installed features and such, because I believe, well, Service Pack 1 just works for me without all the unnecessary slowdowns and whatnot. I don't know, but yeah. Press any key for the command prompt. Setup is initializing, and yeah. So once we get into the setup launcher, we will go ahead and go into the setup process. Now, if you excuse me, I need to do something, so I'll be back with you guys in a bit. Alright, I'm back after doing a little bit of duties around here in the house, but yeah, here we are. Windows Embedded POSReady 2009 setup. Now this uses the WIN, Windows Installation, I don't know what the acronym for that WIM setup files are, but this is the WIM based setup instead of the i386 text-based portion of setup for the first half. So this is the full, we got the full Windows setup environment. Welcome to the Windows Embedded POSReady 2009 setup wizard. This wizard will guide you through the installation process. To continue, choose next. So we will use interactive setup. We don't need unattended setup. And now we need a product key. So I will be back with you guys in a bit. All right, just typed in the product key. Now, they have several different product keys for POSReady 2009. One for evaluation purposes, and then one that's pretty much, it allows you to get the full access to POSReady 2009 without the evaluation stuff in it. So, we'll accept our license agreement. Just standard. Name and organization. Just the usual. No additional storage drivers are required. Please wait while setup loads drive and partition information. Now, this is the part that I will be getting to as far as primary and extended partitions go. So, this is what I'm going to be talking about. So, partition 1, that is the Windows 98 partition. And these extended partitions, that's pretty much like 3 partitions within that extended partition. So here's the thing. Windows Embedded POSReady 2009 groups all the extended partitions, whether or not it has like separate partitions within them, as one. So if I install it on this partition, on either of these extended partitions, I can't install it on those. Oh, I think I may have not noticed this, but if I do select the extended partitions, it will not let me access through. So I actually have to delete the extended partitions. So that's the thing. So to install Windows POSReady 2009, I need to install it on a primary partition. So, wow, these are all the other ones. So partition 1, partition 2. Let me see about that. Because, like, I need to choose the correct partition that I need to use as far as these goes, because they do not have the labels for the label names that I had on it. So I'm gonna have to like really choose here. So partition 1. So this is the Windows 2000 server partition, and this is the partition that I'm going to be installing POSReady 2009 to. So I will go ahead and just use that. Now, it also does label the other partition space, but we'll go ahead and install it on this partition. So we'll click Next. Using this volume as the installation partition, we'll erase all data on it. To use this volume, click OK. We'll click OK on that. NTFS default, and we'll name it as POSReady 2009. I almost typed in POSReady 2000. That didn't exist. Yeah, POSReady 2009, and I'll use the drive letter as P, standing for POSReady 2009. And we could use a full format, but for this video, we're gonna do a quick format to save time. So we click on that. It's taking a little bit of time. All right, language settings. A default input language in non-Unicode programs, they all use English United States. I do live in the States, so I'll leave those as is. Supplemental language support. So this would usually only appear under just like the regional settings and such. So we will install files for complex script and right and left languages, and installing files for each Asian languages. So we will all do that. Geographical location, US, Pacific time zone, English United States, standards and formats. We'll leave all those as is, especially since I live somewhere near the Pacific area. Installation type. We could go for typical, minimum, or custom. Now, this is more like, it's a little bit reminiscent of the Windows 9X installation process, especially for Windows 98, where you had like typical, portable, and minimal, and custom. We'll choose custom because we need to select all of our options here. So accessibility tools, we want that. Command line utilities, and all the accessories, all the included accessories. Additional drivers needed during installation of computer peripherals, fax services, indexing services, IIS, management monitoring tools, POS for .NET 1.12, terminal services, touchscreen keyboard, we don't need that, update root certificates, networking services, I am not too sure about that, and message queuing, I am not too sure about that, and Windows Media, yeah, we can have Windows Media. So Windows Embedded POSReady 2009 comes with Windows Media Player 11 pre-installed. It just selected as an option, and it also installs .NET Framework 2. Now we could just select networking services as standard. We'll leave the message queuing and touchscreen keyboard off. So, and here we go, paging file size. Now, from what I learned from a YouTube video of someone installing a POSReady 2009 on YouTube, here's something that I've learned from that video. As far as this, we can have a fixed paging file size to prevent any kind of unnecessary fragmentation. So what we want to do is we need to we can use our calculator here that I can use, and basically we need to use a fixed paging file size, we need to have at least 1.5 times the size of our memory. So we have 640 megs of RAM in here, and I will time that by 1.5, 960. So we will set the maximum size, paging file size, to 960. So that's pretty much how we're gonna go. That way we have a fixed paging file size. That will hopefully stop the disk from fragmenting itself. And our computer name and admin password. Now, we actually need to set a password for the admin password. It will not let us do it without any password, so I will go ahead and set that up. So, be back with you guys in a sec. Now, Windows Embedded POSReady 2009 requires us to enter in a strong password. So we can't type in a password that has only an uppercase and a lowercase. We need to have a combination of an uppercase, lowercase, and a digit, or with the symbol. But yeah, so I will go ahead and retype the password. Alright, I typed in my password already, and we could check these boxes to manually set our IP, DNS, and Win server addresses. We will not do all those. We'll set them all to automatic. And the work group, we can either join a work group or we can either join a domain. We'll just use a work group, standard, and finalizing setup. So this is pretty much everything that we have set for as far as our setup goes. You are now ready to install POSReady 2009. Review your settings to ensure they are correct. To start the installation process, choose install. So we'll double check all these to make sure we got everything set up right. So we have everything set up in here. Yeah, everything looks good. So we're going to be passing the point of no return. So here we go. Click install. There we go. Setup is formatting your installation partition. This can take a few minutes depending on the size of your partition. So yeah, there we go. I don't need to use the stopwatch to see how long it takes to quick format that, because we already seen in the previous video of me installing Windows XP Professional on this thing that went by as fast as 20 seconds. So Now it's copying the core OS components. Setup is copying the operating system image to the installation partition. Normally, stuff like this will take place in a text-based portion of setup, but because this uses a graphical portion of setup based on the WIM setup installation image, it looks pretty much different. And I believe Windows Fundamentals for Legacy PCs, which is a version of Windows XP Embedded, made for older hardware like tailored for Windows 98 and such, to run Windows XP and such. It was only available to those in the business environment or some. They had to get the installation disk of the Windows Fundamentals for Legacy PCs from Microsoft, obviously, I guess. Now it's installing drivers for plug-and-play devices. So that, I believe that's the installing devices part of the graphical portion of setup. So it's pretty much everything in between. But yeah, Windows Fundamentals for Legacy PCs also uses the same WIM-based setup procedures as with this one that we have here. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here, and I'll catch you back up on the other side once it begins to restart. And look at that, it's now preparing the registry and it's preparing to restart the computer. Setup will restart the computer in 10 seconds. Now this is a bit reminiscent of the Windows 9X installation process, especially from Windows 98 and ME, obviously. You know, the way how it sets up that. So like there's this when it restarts during the setup process, it'll say setup will need to restart your computer to continue. Your computer will automatically restart in 15 seconds, or when you click restart now, it's something like that. Alright, and now we are in the bootloader, and we can see we have another option for Windows Embedded POSReady 2009. Now notice that we have at least 6 OSs installed on this thing. I have a SEP tuple. What the heck? Windows cannot start because the... Wow. What just actually happened? I'm thinking I think we may have ran into a problem, a serious problem here, because it does not seem to find that. Well, no matter, I'll use a Acronis OS selector. Okay, got Acronis OS selector up, and I'll use its disk management thing. And I do have to wonder, is there something wrong within those partitions? Everything within this Intel Compaq is, you know, kind of complicated at times, obviously. Well, I did intend this to be like an experimental system, which is what it basically is now. Yeah, so I have POSReady 2009 properly installed on here, but we are unable to boot from it. So yeah, I don't know why, but you know, it's just something like that. So it's unable to set, it was unable to boot from that for some reason. I had to probably double check, because it says it couldn't find that missing file, which is hal.dll. Yeah, so we have that already in there. Let's see if we can try to go back in. Yeah, Windows cannot start because the following file is missing or corrupt. Windows root system 32 hal.dll. I think it must be the configuration that I had set with this machine. Because, you know, it's a bit complicated when I need to reset things up on here, pretty much. So I'm rebooting here. Okay. My computer... Yeah, I have the POSReady 2009 stuff already set and done, but I couldn't boot from it for some reason. Let me go ahead and show hidden files, hide extensions, no file types, and whatnot. Alright, so boot.ini. Are this one partition to Windows? So we do have the correct partition on here. We just don't have the hal.dll thing. Because it says it's missing that partition. What the heck? I think we may have a conflicting here. Because our disk 1 partition 2 is the same. You know what? Let me just do this. Because I think, yeah, partition 1, partition 1. Oh wait. I think hopefully that should fix it. Now, that should be a writable, I should say. Yep, not read only. So let's see if that fixes it. Yeah, I want to see how that would go. Alright, so then we'll go into that. Alright, so we seem to have fixed it. So problem solved, problem solved. Let's continue on with the video. I thought the video might end there because we had that little problem here. I think it's just a matter of, you know, resetting those partitions up. The rearrangement of the partitioning of these drives is a little bit messed up. I'm gonna have to like get all that sorted out once I finish reinstalling all the OSs I have on here. That's including the Windows 98 partition too, because I'm unable to boot from it after I installed Windows 2000 server and such. That after I installed it, I tried accessing Windows 98 and it wouldn't boot from it. It would just say invalid system disk. So I'm gonna be needing to reinstall that too. First boot agent is starting. Something like that. So this is our first boot agent set of procedures where it's gonna ask us for it's gonna ask for something that's, you know, it's pretty much just gonna set things up like so. And there we go. First boot agent. It's installing pretty much everything it needs, and this is gonna take a little while. So it's installing the catalogs, and it's gonna install pretty much everything else in between, and it will restart multiple times within during this first boot agent's setup, because it needs to set everything up for first boot. And yeah, and at some point it'll switch us to a much higher resolution, usually 800 by 600 I believe, and then it'll go into the login screen. Now yeah, anyways, yeah, about the partitioning of the drives that I have on here, it's a little bit finicky at the moment, because partitions 1 and 2 are not in the correct order, and that's why when we tried to access it from the boot menu the first time around, it couldn't really find that, because I believe it was going to the Windows 2000 server part, obviously, and it wasn't detecting the correct partition. So I had to manually change it via the boot.ini file and such, and that fixed it. And here we are now installing PMP devices. And about the Windows 98 partition, because it was not successfully booting, I am going to be reinstalling it straight from the CD drive again, because straight from the OEM CD, because the quick restore media that I used with 2 of my Compaq systems suddenly stopped working for some reason, and I don't know why. But anyways, yeah. A moment ago it said installing workstation and starting workstation service, and now it's installing the networks and such. But yeah, it's gonna go through all of everything as far as the first boot agent stuff goes. So it's pretty much installing all the features that we had set during setup, obviously. So it's installing all the network features, pretty much, and it'll go by through this, as it goes on. I would say, but yeah. Yeah, there's nothing really much to say, except yeah, because like it's gonna take a little while, so I don't really have anything else to talk about other than everything that I did to this Intel Compaq, obviously, because, well, at the moment I have a septuple, not septuple, that's 7 sextuple booted setup, so I pretty much have 6 operating systems in one computer. So yeah, it's only possible, I made that possible because I had in this Intel Compaq I had a 160 gig drive and the 500 gig drive, and I partitioned all those effectively to be able to have a multi-boot configuration, because that's just me. I like multi-boot configurations. I think that's kind of inspired I've been kind of inspired by that by my cousin's custom built computer from the mid 2000s that was a multi-boot system. That was it was dual booted with Windows 2000 Professional and Windows XP Professional. And that custom built computer with that case with the Pac-Man as its power button and dashes as the indicator lights and such, that is the particular computer that I remember using Windows 2000 from for only like a little bit, and then because I pretty much used XP most of the time on that system, but I did get to experience Windows 2000 Professional on that system. Well, setup cannot find the... Whoa! That's a first. Setup cannot find the installation media. Please insert the installation media and try again. That's a first. Because I took this out to put the Acronis OS selector bootable CD that I made. So I'll be reinserting that into the disk drive. Wow, that's a first. I never encountered this installing POSReady 2009. I'm pretty sure most people installing POSReady 2009 will never encounter this unless they took out the CD, the disk of the drive and such. But there we go, installing components, and it's progressing along further. So yeah, searching for install that. Oh wow, so this is the Microsoft POS for .NET 1.12 installation wizard, and it's it's copying all the files and registering the WMI provider, and it's removing all the so yes, so this part is going to install all the components that we had set during setup. So yeah, so I'll be back with you guys in a sec. Alright, it's resetting the setup flag, it seems like it. And now I think it might be ready to restart. I am not too sure. We'll see about that once it does it. So yeah, we're gonna be waiting here for a bit. Alright, so I think it's ready to restart. And then see about it's probably gonna reset. It's probably gonna go through another phase of setup again. So I think it does that 3 times. So I mean, the first part of the first boot agent is complete, and I think it's going through its second stage, I believe. So we're booting in, and it might do the first boot agent thing again once we boot in. Seems like we have a much higher resolution this time. So there we go. First boot agent is already set up, and it's resetting our setup flag yet again. Now, I think on the trial CD of Windows Embedded POSReady 2009, or even like the DVD copy of Windows Embedded POSReady 2009, like the one I have, if you use an evaluation product key for it, you will actually see you will see a watermark down there. Oh, and there it goes. It just reset itself. So that was the second reboot. So that was the second phase of the first boot agent, and I think we're going into the third and final phase of that first boot agent. So that's like what? How many restarts was it? So the first restart was during the setup process. The second restart was during the first part of the final of the first boot agent, and then the third one was the second restart of the first boot agent. And I think the fourth one is when it finished that second part of the first boot agent, and this is probably the final part. So we did 4 restarts from installing Windows Embedded POSReady 2009, which is a bit odd, but you know, what can you do? Now it's installing the last of the components, and then it will go ahead and say resetting the setup flag. So I think once it says resetting the setup flag, I think it's setting the flag back to like 0 or something like that. I'm not too sure, but when it restarts the setup flag, that means it's about ready to move on to the next phase, like either restarting or heading to the login screen, which this is probably the third and final part of the first boot agent. So after it resets the setup flag for this part, it will go ahead into our login screen. So yeah, I will probably go ahead and pause the video here, and I'll be back with you guys up in a bit. Okay, it's resetting the setup flag for the final time, and I believe after it does this, it will go into the login prompt. That's what I'm believing. But yeah, as far as POS, that's the 5th restart, right? Yeah, that's the 5th restart overall. So that was the 3rd phase. Are we actually going to the 4th phase of the final boot agent? Yes, we are. So the first restart was during the setup process. When it finished that, the second restart was when it finished that part of the first part of the first boot agent. And then the second part, I think that was when it started the first. I don't know the correct orders now, but we had at least 5 restarts, if I get that correctly. And this is the final part. This is the 4th and final part of the first boot agent, so it's resetting the setup flag. Hello, Future Me here. So as I was going through the footages that I have for this video, I realized that there are only 4 reboots in total as far as reinstalling Windows Embedded POSReady 2009 goes. So the first reboot happened at the end of the graphical portion of setup, then the second reboot happened at the end of the first part of the first boot agent, and then the third reboot happened at the end of the second part of the first boot agent, and then the 4th reboot happened at the end of the third part of the first boot agent. So now we're at the 4th and final part of the first boot agent, which will then proceed us into the login screen, which we're about to see later on in this video. So yes, there are 4 restarts in total, not 5 as I originally thought of when I recorded the footages for this video. But anyways, yeah, let's just get back into the video, shall we? And I believe once it does this, we should be able to go into the login sequence this time, hopefully. There we go. It took us a while, but we finally made it. Here we go. Windows Embedded POSReady 2009, obviously. Here we are. 2006 Microsoft 2008 Microsoft Corp. Yeah. Again, so by default, Windows Embedded POSReady 2009 does not display a welcome screen. There is a welcome screen that is set that you can set yourself, but it remains identical to that Windows XP because Windows Embedded POSReady 2009 is again based on Windows XP Professional, an embedded version that is. So pretty much this login sequence is exactly the same as it was on Windows 2000 and prior, mainly Windows 2000. So we got 3 buttons down here, and there's the options button. We can click on that, and our only option is the shutdown button, just like Windows XP. The log on using dial-up connection option is absent. And I don't think there's a way that you can get that back, you know. So we'll hide all those options for now, and we'll type in administrator, and we'll type in our password. And let's hear that startup sound again. Hopefully. It's going to blast out through these speakers again. I know for sure. Let's see. Yep. And the rattly thing on the right speaker, I need to do something about that. Setting up personalized settings. Windows desktop update. You know, if you have used the Windows... Oh, there we go. We're finally at the desktop of Windows Embedded POSReady 2009. Now, you may notice the start text and this text up here is looking a bit different. I'm thinking that's because Windows Embedded POSReady 2009 does not install at least most of the fonts that were included in XP. So we had to manually add them ourselves. So we'll go to my computer and we will go into our Windows XP partition that we have set up. And we will go to fonts, and this folder contains 106 files. If you want to select these files as well, enable filling. I'm going to turn that volume down. It is up somewhat. That's probably a bit too loud for these speakers. So keep your computer up to date. Yeah. And we'll go ahead and select all those. We'll hit OK on that. And then it'll show all the hidden files and such. And I'll go ahead and go to the POSReady 2009 partition. And we'll go into the fonts folder. And we'll install all the missing fonts that we need. And we will go ahead and click cancel on all of this. Are you sure? I need to install the new a couple of fonts. To install, yeah. I can just click OK. If I hit cancel, then that's not going to go anywhere. So just click on OK on all of this stuff. Let's see how fast I can click it. I see some of them that says unable to install font or something, but yeah, just kind of mashing my way through. Just kind of mashing my way through and installing all the fonts that I need. Just hearing that Windows exclamation sound effect over and over again. And there we go. At least all of our fonts that we need to require are already in here. So what to do? We hit Explorer, go to End Process on where's Explorer? It should be at least here. So Explorer, there we go. And now hit Explorer. There we go. That fixed it. Because this is the embedded visual style still uses Trebuchet MS for some things, like this one and this one. Windows Embedded POSReady 2009 does not have Trebuchet MS installed by default, so I had to manually add that using the XP partition. But this is the default desktop of Windows Embedded POSReady 2009. Oh my goodness. This is taking a lot longer than it would to set up Windows XP because, yeah. Anyways, Windows Embedded POSReady 2009 version 2.0, Service Pack 3. So this is, it's basically Windows XP Professional with Service Pack 3, but without all the bloat. Pretty much, if you can think about that. Version 5.1, build 2600, XP, SP, SP3, etc. Copyright 2007. Intel Pentium III processor, 933 MHz, 640 megs of RAM. Again, that icon is stretched. yeah. Everything in between. So just a standard install of Windows Embedded POSReady 2009 successfully installed. And yeah, that is about it. So I pretty much have every single partition that I had set up all back up and running. So yeah, so I pretty much have everything set up to how I wanted it to be, as I wanted it to be, as I set up like about a year ago or something. So yeah, I think that about wraps it up for now, at least. I do have one more. And that's why I have this other partition that I'm kind of teased about. But yeah, that'll do it for now. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope to see you all in the next one. See you later.